This is Mentally Financial. I'm your host, Gary B. Just sit back and let's get into this episode. Peace. Pay down debt, very important, y'all. And it's honestly a very important part of building your financial journey. Or what we say a lot last year, financial freedom. Because financial freedom is whatever you want it to be, okay? If you want to be debt-free, financial freedom. If you want to live within your means, financial freedom. So whatever your definition of financial freedom is, paying off debt is a major way of making that happen, okay? Hopefully you already have that built into your budget, because a lot of you already have loans for school or personal or whatever it may be, auto loans, credit card loans. Those are all money that you have to pay back. So I'm hoping that you did your budget in a way that covers all of that. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't one of those things that you just forgot about or didn't add to the bottom line, because those are the things that creep up and they get you in the end, okay? Now, while paying down debt is very important, you have to also understand that you don't need to go get no new unnecessary new credit loan or debt, okay? You got to think about it that way, okay? You don't want to get any new debt added on to the old debt you're already trying to pay off. Now, a lot of people may have forgotten this or don't know this or whatever. There's a such thing as good debt, and there's a good thing as bad debt, okay? Like a home, because you got to live somewhere. So a mortgage loan would be considered, in a sense, a good debt, even though it's still a debt, and it may be too expensive. You may have went out and bought on your high end of your budget instead of right in the middle or on the low end of your budget. But with that being said, don't let that kind of scare you, because that's where, HELO loans come in and refi come in. But that's not what I teach y'all. Remember, I'm not in investments and I don't do mortgages and all that. But I'm just saying, there is a good thing as good debt and bad debt. Like in my case, my mortgage in my mind is a good debt because I want to live in my house. And then I have solar panels on my house. To me, that was a good buy because it's helping me cut down on bills. I haven't paid an electric bill in almost, 6 months now? You know what I'm saying? So it was a pretty good deal for me in that sense. But I'm not even going to talk about solar panels because that's a whole nother story too, y'all. So let's not get into that. But we're talking about paying debt down. Now, a lot of people tend to just, like I said, just pay the bare minimum towards something. You can't do that if you're trying to pay off some stuff to get to financial freedom, y'all. You have to be broke. Hear my words. You have to be broke. You can't go to the club. You can't buy no new clothes this month unless you need them. You can't buy no Jordans. Why? You can't buy no $5,000 earrings or Gucci purses or whatever them shoes that are out there that people love to buy. You can't buy it right now because you're trying to pay down this debt to get you back above water. Because right now you treading it and you just hanging in there the best you can. We're trying to get you where you can float. You know what I'm saying? And float towards the shore and not out to sea. That's what we're trying to get you to. But there's sometimes when you need to add more debt to what you already have. Those medical expenses, the car breaks down, or the refrigerator, the stove. There's things that you need that you have to use credit for. You know what I'm saying? So I try to tell people a credit card can be a very powerful tool to use if you know what you're doing with it. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you have debt and you're trying to pay that debt off. But if you have to, because you like I said, if a refrigerator breaks down, you need a refrigerator. If your car breaks down, depending on where you're living, you need a car. You know what I'm saying? Or your house needs to be repaired. You got to do these things, y'all. So I'm not saying that, hey, you can't add on to the debt you already got. But you got to remember that you're paying the debt that you already got, trying to pay that down. So before you go out and make this enormous payment somewhere else, make sure that you are doing the right thing for you and your family, okay? Because we know that these emergency expenses can hurt us. So that's why I'm always teaching you also, put $400 at least into an emergency fund. You're going to always hear me say that. put $400 into an emergency fund. I know this is paying down debt, but you have to look at the other areas to keep you from not having more debt. Put $400 into an emergency fund. If you can't put nothing else in there, put at least the $400 and leave it there. Okay? And if you can add to it later on, add to it. But don't touch it unless you really, really need it. But anyway, back to this paying debt. Right now, the school loan thing. I can't really talk much about the school, the student loan, because Biden and all these, the Treasury and everybody, the Ed department, they still fighting over this crazy mess. So I can't even really tell you what to do when it comes to student loan. Just let that one sit there for a minute. And when the government figures it out, then we can go back to it. Okay. Medical costs. Right now, if you don't know, anything 500 and below will not show up on your credit report no more. It shouldn't. Once again, that's why you must always check your credit report now. Because if it's below $500, it should already fell off and it should not be added. But remember, anything above that, they're going to try to give you a little leeway. About, I think it was like 90 days. So that's about 3 months before they send it to a collections or before they send it to the credit reporting agencies. So those are the kind of things you need to look at when you're talking about paying down debt also. Okay, because I know medical costs can be crazy. I know health insurance is very expensive. And I was talking to a friend of mine, Tia Talks Insurance. Y'all need to check her out. Tia Talks Insurance on IG and TiaTalksInsurance.com. She was breaking down the health insurance thing to me the other day. Wow, boy, it's extensive. And if you don't know what you're looking for, you need somebody who does that to help you out. She's the one. Check her out. Now, I ain't saying she's the only one, but go check her out. She, knows what she's talking about. She showed me some good stuff and got me thinking. But I'm 100% disabled vet, so the VA pretty much takes care of me. But even with that being said, I want y'all to understand paying down debt is very important if you ever want your definition of financial freedom to come true, okay? So look at your budget, pay them bills on time, start paying that debt off, even if you have to be broke for a month or two or whatever it may take. Do it, y'all. And tomorrow we'll love you for it. This your boy Gary B. Like I said, I do the research. You just got to follow. This is Money Management, 10 minutes or less. Hey, I'll see you in the next episode.